Hello! Welcome to my October TBR. But, heads up, this is not my October TBR. This is my October random pile of books that right now I think I might possibly be in the mood for, but everything about my October reading is up for debate. Everything about my October reading is gonna just be adjusted as I go through the month because I don't fully know what I'm doing for October. I feel like the last few months I've had like reading goals and challenges that I've been doing on Patreon or whatever has been going on. And in October, my Patreon reading challenge is much less strict. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean I need to read an enormous quantity. It doesn't mean I need to read anything really specific. The challenge on Patreon this month is much more kind of a by chance sort of challenge. It's like a word hunt, harvesting for the harvest season. Anyway, less spooky vibes over there. So I don't have anything particular that I necessarily need to read for that. So my October reading is gonna probably be kind of mood ready. But at the same time, the Spookoplathon is on. If you are not familiar with Spookoplathon, whoa, hold up. Spookoplathon is Becca from Becca and the Book's spooky Monopoly readathon. She did it last year, but I was moving house in October last year, so I didn't get to participate. So with her doing it again this year, I kind of want to participate in that. And every time Becca has done a Bookoplathon in the past, I have always done the roll as you go approach. So that is what I will be doing again this month. I might deviate from that to do like specific vlogs that I've got in mind that I want to do. But for the most part, I will probably be rolling as I go for the Spookoplathon in October. With that being said, I do want to give you a rundown of some of the books that I could potentially be in the mood for, so I thought we could do that. And I'm actually going to start by contradicting everything I've just said because I do have one required read for October, and that is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is the next Patreon buddy read over on my Patreon. I put it to a poll. They have selected the next series that they want to read, and they want to read the Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwynne, which starts with this. So this will be our October book, and we will read the following 2 books in the series, 1 per month. I have enjoyed, for the most part, everything I have read from John Gwynne. I really liked the Faithful and the Fallen series. I have just started the Blood and Bone series, and haven't enjoyed that as much so far, but I'm only 1 book in, and it is in the same world as The Faithful and the Fallen, so I've already got all of that, like, world building for that series. This is entirely different world, different characters, different all over, and I think it's like Norse mythology? A century has passed since the gods fought and drove themselves to extinction. Now only their bones remain, promising great power to those brave enough to seek them out. Whispers of war echo across the land. Fate follows in the footsteps of 3 warriors, a huntress on a dangerous quest, a noble woman pursuing battle fame, and a thrall-seeking vengeance among the mercenaries known as the Bloodsworn. All 3 will shape the fate of the world as it once more falls under the shadow of the gods. Brand new Norse-inspired world packed with myth, magic, and bloody vengeance. Sounds amazing, but new world from John Gwynne, so that excites me. I loved the world building of The Faithful and the Fallen, and that world building is obviously carried into the Blood and Bone series, which is, you know, I know and like it. I'm very intrigued to see something new from John Gwynne and see how that lands with me. I've heard fantastic things about this book, so I am looking forward to giving it a go and trying it out with my patrons as well. So, book number 1, this. Now, I'm about to hold up a whole stack of middle grade books. I have not been enjoying middle grade lately, but I want to try middle grade horror again. I have liked middle grade horror before, and I'm wondering if I'll have more luck with middle grade horror than I have been having with middle grade fantasy and adventure lately. And for the Halloween season, I would like to give the Dreadwood series a go. I have read the first book in this, Dreadwood, so I don't need to read book 1 again. But I have the other 4 books in the series. I don't know what order these go in. I think, is this one next? Maybe? I don't know. I will have to find out what order the rest of this series goes in, but the Dreadwood series. Maybe I will reread book 1 and do like a full read through of all of Dreadwood. I'm pretty sure the audiobooks for this are on either Everand or BookBeat or something. Maybe it would be fun for like a weekend challenge or something. I don't know. But I do want to give them a go. I enjoyed book 1 in this series. It follows a group of school kids who got detention, and their detention is on the weekend. They have to go to the school for a weekend detention, and it is creepy. And can you see all of the spiders all over the cover of this? If you are arachnophobic, maybe not, but creepy spider creatures all over the school trying to get these kids. And then I think we follow the same characters as they encounter more creepy scenarios. I think it would be fun as like a full read-through challenge type thing, and I've been saying I wanted to try them out around Halloween time, so that is my plan for the whole Dreadwood series. Hopefully I can get through them pretty quickly, because they're middle grades. Big text as well in these. So fingers crossed I can get through those. Next up, I'm going to try and tackle a couple off my self-destruct TBR, because I haven't been doing too good with that, and there were a few in there that I said, if I don't read them in the next Halloween season, then I probably never will. One of those is The Nature of Witches. I was saving this for Witchy season. 'Tis Witchy season. If I don't read this Witchy season, then I probably never will. So I'm gonna have all intention to get to this. I did read the first chapter of this for a first chapter challenge. It's one of Steph's favourites. She absolutely fell in love with this. The first chapter, from what I remember, didn't blow me away, but I would like to give it a go. I believe the witches in this are kind of elemental, seasonal, nature-based, and global warming has something to do with like disrupting the magic, and we have one main witch who has like all of the different magic and can like balance it and stuff. I don't know. I'll maybe give it a go. We'll see. Another one on my self-destruct TBR that I definitely do want to get to is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This fits the vibe for what I'm wanting lately with kind of the Gothic horror. I have read from Silvia Moreno Garcia before and enjoyed a lot. Mexican Gothic, for example. I've also read and enjoyed Gods of Jade and Shadow and Certain Dark Things. So I would like to think I would enjoy this as well, but I have heard that this one has quite a different vibe. This, of course, follows the daughter of Dr. Moreau. Dr. Moreau being the scientist on the island of Dr. Moreau, experimenting with human-animal creatures, hybrids, fruits of the doctor's labour, and he is keeping secrets from his daughter on this island. I think this could be good, and it's on the self-destruct list, so I do need to get to it. I thought I had better put one from my priority list on here as well, because I do still need to keep chipping away at that priority list. I can't recall right now what's left on it other than The Grace of Kings, which I'm not doing in October, and Sons of Darkness I'm pretty sure was on there as well. So I'm gonna go with this one, just because darkness. And I feel like there is a chance that darkness could come up on a Spookopoly roll somehow. I just feel like I could probably fit this in. I did get the audiobook of this once upon a time and started listening to it and thought, whoa, no, I need to immersion read this. So I put it down with all intention of physically reading and listening along at the same time. I can't remember what this is about, but I know that I had very high expectations and it was quite buzzwordy for me. Some ballads are inked in blood, bled dry by the violent confrontations with the Empire. The Republic simmers on the brink of oblivion. Does that not sound like a recipe for me? Yes, it does. Senator Krishna and his third wife have put plans in motion both within and beyond the Republic's blood-soaked borders to protect it from total annihilation, but they're soon to discover that neither gold nor alliances last forever, and they are not the only players on the board. This is going to be epic, political, but also, I think, there's like some dark magic or something. The sons of darkness are prophesized to rise. There's a prophecy. I knew I was excited about this. This has so many of my buzzwords in it. So, fingers crossed I love it. And I do think immersion reading this one is going to be the route to take for me. So, I'm excited about that. Another witchy one on my radar. I don't know why. Just because it's got witch in the title. Honey Witch. Can you even see that? Just about. This is a fairy loot one. And, like, that is just gorgeous. It's a beautiful, beautiful book, and I want to love it for no other reason than it's just gorgeous. But I think it might be a fantasy romance, or a romantic fantasy, whichever way round that goes. Marigold has always preferred the company of the spirits of the meadow to any of the suitors who have tried to woo her, so when her grandmother whisks her away to the family cottage on the tiny Isle of Innisfree with an offer to train her as the next honey witch, she accepts immediately, but her newfound magic and independence come with a price. No one can fall in love with a honey witch. When Lottie Burke, a notoriously grumpy skeptic who doesn't believe in magic, shows up on her doorstep, Marigold can't resist the challenge to prove to her that magic is real. But soon Marigold begins to care for Lottie in ways that she never expected, and when darker magic awakens and threatens to destroy her home, she must fight for much more than a new home, at the risk of losing her magic and her heart. Okay, so we've got female-female love story there. Very nice. Sounds like it could be cozy, with that risk of dark magic, and her falling in love when she shouldn't. We will see. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. I don't know if this is going to be a recipe for success or not for me, but it's on my mind. It's witchy. Perfect for the witchy season. I would like to maybe try and get to it, if it happens. Next up, I have A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. I wanted to get to this one in September, and I didn't. I've been in such a T. Kingfisher mood, and now I have this. I think I mentioned this in my September TBR, but I didn't own it at the point. Now I do. Here it is, in all its glory. It's T. Kingfisher, and Kingfisher never fails to dazzle, as Peter Beagle tells us on the cover there. This one follows a young girl called Cordelia, or a young woman called Cordelia, whose mother is a little bit quirky. More than a few quirks set her mother apart. Other parents can't force their daughters to be silent and motionless, obedient for hours or days on end. Other mothers aren't sorcerers. After a suspicious death in their small town, Cordelia's mother insists they leave in the middle of the night, leaving all that Cordelia has ever known. They arrive at a remote country manor of a wealthy older man, the squire, and his unwed sister. Cordelia's mother intends to lure the squire into marriage. Cordelia knows this can only be bad news for the bumbling gentleman and his kind, intelligent sister. She will have to face down the wicked witch of the worst kind. I think this sounds great. This sounds like the right vibes. That kind of eerie, haunting, gothic, horror-y vibe. Potentially. That's what I'm getting from the old manor, the bewitching of the daughter, the sorceress, kind of having this, like, eerie control and making the atmosphere kind of funky. That's what I'm hoping for from this. I have high hopes. And maybe I have a little trio of witchy books there to do a little which witch wins scenario, if anyone remembers when I did that once upon a time. I could do that again. And then I also have The Hollow Places from T. Kingfisher, which I would also like to get to. Again, T. Kingfisher, gothic, horror, eerie atmosphere vibes that I am looking for. So this one follows a young woman called Kara, who discovers a hole in the wall of her uncle's house. And she becomes a little bit curious and a little bit obsessed with what this hole is and some mysterious words that she finds there, and she discovers that it is actually a portal to countless alternate realities. But the places in these alternate realities are haunted by creatures, and these creatures seem to hear thoughts, and the more you fear them, the stronger they become. This sounds like it could have the right vibes for what I want. Truly terrifying. Yeah, that is all that we've got. Places are haunted by creatures that hear thoughts, and the more you fear them, the stronger they become. So I don't really know fully what to expect from this, but I'm hoping that T. Kingfisher, once again, will not disappoint with the haunting, eerie vibes, the atmosphere that makes me unsettled. That's what I want from this, and hopefully that is what I will get. And then the last couple that I'm going to mention are a couple of translated books I would like to get to, just because I'm still riding this translated fiction train, and I now have the sequel to Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which is Tales from the Cafe. I then also have the next couple, so maybe I'll read more of that, but I loved Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I cried. If you've seen the vlog where I read that, I sobbed. And I would very much like to continue. That book follows the owners of a cafe, and each chapter has a different person coming into the cafe to use the cafe's ability to transport them back in time. There is a particular seat in the cafe where if you sit in it, you can be transported back to a moment in time for as long as it takes for the coffee to get cold, and then you have to come back. And this is the sequel to that, with more tales from the cafe, so I am very excited to continue. I'm excited for it to make me cry again? Who am I? And then another translated one is Welcome to the Hunamdong Bookshop, another bookish translated one. Our main character's life has not gone the way that she wanted it to. It's fallen apart. She's burned out, she abandons her old life, quits her high-flying career, and follows her dream of opening a bookshop. And I assume this is going to be the healing power of books and bookshops, because that is the vibe. So these two, not so much October spooky vibes, but on my mind, and therefore on this list of potentials. As I say, this could all completely change. I might not read anything other than Shadow of the Gods that I've just mentioned. I could deviate entirely because, for the most part, the Spookopoly board is going to control my reading. So, as this is my TBR, shall we do the first roll for that? Taking inspiration from Becca's TBR, let's do my first roll for the Spookoplathon and see what I will be starting with. This is not the most sophisticated way to do this, but I have the board here. I have my little piece, which is my little smoky quartz, and I have some dice. So, let's roll. Oh, turn it so that I actually start on go, but let's roll. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are starting on TBR Vet. You can't see, but the fourth one along. Right, so from go, 1, 2, 3, 4, TBR Veteran. Okay, that will work out pretty nicely for one of the ones that was on my self-destruct TBR. So I think it's looking like I'm going to start with The Daughter of Dr. Moreau. I think this will be my first read for October. Beautiful. Okay, well, that is that. That is everything I have for you for this October TBR. Thank you ever so much for watching and hanging out with me. I will, of course, leave Becca's Spookopoly down below, the link to that, so you can go and explore that if you have not already. You probably have. Thank you very much for hanging out with me whilst I just ramble about books that are possibly on my mind. If there are any that I have mentioned here today that you think I absolutely, definitely must get to, please do let me know down below. But otherwise, I hope you have a very successful reading month ahead of you, and I shall see you in whatever comes next. Bye!